Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 82nd edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by Disney's number one hater, Jaden.
Hello.
I didn't use the Amazing Spider-Man Day He Dies one. He will defend the Amazing Spider-Man until, yeah. So thank you, Zach, for showing restraint, And also, PTA's number one fanboy, a.k.a. Fitzy, a.k.a. Liam. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not muck around. This is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is Spider-Man 2, which opened in the US on the 30th of June 2004. It was directed by Sam Raimi once again. It is an action superhero film, and the synopsis says Peter Parker is beset with troubles in his failing personal life as he battles a brilliant scientist named Dr. Otto Octavius. Neat. Fitzy, you've rewatched this film. How many times do you think you've seen this movie?
I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while, but I've seen it. I think I used to see it a lot, but maybe I saw the first one more there. But
okay.
No, it's a good film.
Is it?
Yeah. No, I think like most of the elements are like improved. The direction is more noticeable. The action scene is really great. Like I'm way more invested in Peter Parker in this one, and it's less memey, and I think it's like has some pacing issues and it's like slow at times, but other than that, I think it's just pretty good. So yeah.
Cool beans. Jaden, what about you? Don't come in too hot, all right? Just call it. Just call it.
I watched this movie like a month and a half ago, and I thought to myself, a month and a half, I don't have to rewatch it. It's still recent memory. But then like it got to like 12 last night, and I was like, fuck, I don't remember anything. And I was like, oh well, I'll just have to sit there and talk shit without knowing what I'm saying. It's fine. It's competent. It's a step down from the first one, in my opinion. I think maybe it is more technically, nuanced or whatever the fuck, but like, just story wise, I mean, it's just so boring and generic, and like, I really think like the overpraise for it has like negatively impacted my perception of it, because like, just any time I see any shout for, Octavius, Doc Ock, and story, great, it just weakens my perception like more.
I feel like this is like lining up exactly, or very, very similar to the first review, where I feel like I'm in the middle of you two, where I do think this is an improvement over Spider-Man 1. I think the script is better. I think, broadly speaking, Raimi's style clicks with me more here, whereas in the first one I was sort of having to battle myself of whether or not I enjoyed the cringiness and then the campiness of it. But it's not good, like it's not bad. But I can't sit here and confidently say this is a good movie. It's got tons of issues, tons of dumb moments, and I mean, Tobey Maguire didn't really improve for me either. But it went by fairly quickly, so I can't really complain. And it has entertaining aspects, no doubt. So I feel like we've got a little cascading thing going on here, which I like. I want to get your thoughts on where you guys think the film may or may not have improved or not improved off the bat. Because I had a feeling, and I seem to be right already, that was sort of going to be an aspect of this conversation, was if it's better or not than the first one. I just want to open this forum by saying that I think the MJ and Peter scenes are less awkward and they have better dialogue. And I appreciated that. They have the scene where they're like have a similar thing where they're out in their backyards again as in the first one, and it's like a noticeable improvement. And I'm like, thank you. This didn't go for 5 minutes and it's not the cringiest thing I've ever heard, So I thought that was better. And I just think their relationship is still very cliche and not super nuanced, but I think it's better executed this time around. So shout out to that. Fizzy, do you agree with me in that department? And I don't know if you do, if you don't, are there any other aspects you think are noticeably better in this movie?
Yeah, there's less like awkwardness because he's not this like teen like this high school character anymore, I guess. But like, yeah, I do think the film is better in most ways anyway. But yeah, the relationship is more interesting because it actually has this like dynamic to it about him. You know, the whole story about him not being able to, him being Spider-Man and everything, and not wanting to like do that. But where in the first
Yeah.
one, it's just kind of like he's, it's just like kind of awkward, and he just, I don't know, he wants the girl kind of thing. So I think it's different in that way.
No, I totally agree. That's a great point. It is different. And I kind of liked that element. I didn't know it was going to be there of he doesn't want to be Spider-Man. And I thought it was actually kind of cool that like he quit being Spider-Man like halfway through the movie and he's like immediately happier. It's like, oh,
Mm.
maybe.
And that scene, like, what was it? Raindrops are falling on my head. That's like, it's like in that, it's not even like in the first one, it would be something like weird and funny, but in this one, it was actually like, it felt like it was, joyful, I guess. Like, it was well directed in that way. Like, just the immediate change for him being happy, just like, and the whole, like, atmosphere and everything. Like, there are like
Totally.
moments like that in this film that are like really just to the point and like well directed, and you feel what he feels. So it's like, you're more in
Yeah,
tune with him in this one.
totally. I felt that relief. I was like, dude, don't even bother. You know, when he saw that guy getting beat up in the alley, I was like, just leave him. You know, it's fine. Just walk away. It's all good. But then Aunt May has to come in and give that like heroic speech of like, you're born to be a hero, and that kid has to come in and say he looks up to Spider-Man. It's like, just leave him alone, okay? Leave this guy. He doesn't have to do this, okay? He doesn't have to be Spider-Man. No, but I liked all that stuff too. It was a surprising element. It's probably the most compelling element of the story, I think, to play around with. But Jaden, Tobey Maguire, his performance is better? Question mark.
I don't. You tell me. I don't remember. Before you
Cool.
talked about this series, I think you mentioned how like because you just hadn't seen him in so long, and like all the movies kind of blend together, and you couldn't really distinguish one from another. And like it's kind of what I'm feeling now. I'm trying to place scenes from like the first. I'm just trying to remember what scenes are where. Yeah, sure, he's better. Yeah, cool. Yeah, all right. I watched a recap video. It didn't really give me too much of insight, too much of a
Yeah.
thing into it. But yeah.
No, too much insight or whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. He still doesn't work for me, man. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't with his face. Okay, what's up with Tobey Maguire's dumb face? All right, he's pulling these facial expressions all the time that are just so weird, and I feel like I watched this with my brother, and I was trying to figure out how I felt about this, and he nailed it. He nailed exactly how I felt. It was just some random scene where like two other characters are talking, and Tobey Maguire's standing there in the background, and he said, and I think he's totally right. He's like, Tobey Maguire just looks like he's clueless in the scene. Like he doesn't know where he is. He's sort of just always like standing there awkwardly with a dumb look on his face in every scene he's in, and he's got no idea. He's just bewildered at all times. I think it's hilarious, to be honest. So I don't know if I don't really like this performance at all, but I appreciate that it's goofy. You know, I don't know. Is that controversial? Are we already getting controversial? You know.
No, he's goofy. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, okay. I'm glad. Well, you said it in such a like everyone knows this kind of way, so that makes me feel a bit more sane. That's good.
Oh, I don't know. That's just the way I feel.
Cool. Yeah.
Liam speaks for everyone, though. He is the voice
That's
of
true.
the mass.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the iconic. It is. It's iconic, I guess. The train scene and Tobey Maguire's interesting facial expressions as he's trying to hold the train together. But I watched that scene and it's I don't know, it's okay. You know, I like the moment when they all like disguise his identity as Spider-Man. That was sweet.
It's bullshit. That's what it is.
Whoa.
not one person is going to say, "Oh yeah, it's this kid" or whatever.
Well, but that's the thing about it, though, is that they don't have cell phones, right? So they don't. They're just like, oh, your secret's safe with us, dude. It's like, well, even if they did want to go and tell them, mate, what are they going to say? I was some white dude. It was some,
Yeah.
it was some white dude who looked anywhere between the age of 40 and 15. You know, that's Tobey Maguire. So it's
That's
like,
fair.
yeah, I don't know. They didn't get his name, so I thought that scene was kind of weird for that reason. But I liked the gesture. I liked Joey Diaz standing up. You know, that was cool.
That scene comes fairly close to the end, does it not? Like, it kind of happens, and then we're kind of straight into like the final kind of end point
Yeah,
bit. And like, I think my problem with this, it feels very anticlimactic. Like, I think that train scene, it feels like a very middle of the movie type thing, of like, a thing to overcome. And then, like, by the time we get to the final battle, and the fusion reactor or whatever, it all just falls flat for me. It's like, Octavius ends up, he gets short circuited and he turns up being good again. And you just have to put the thing in the water and then it's okay. And then, Mary Jane, she's in danger. She's saved. It all just feels very, it just lulls and ends on such a flat note. Yeah.
yeah. I totally agree with that. I think everything in the building, in that, I don't know, whatever that weird old abandoned building was with the reactor, that's definitely the worst stuff in the movie, in my opinion. It's just, yeah. I mean, it's everything you said. Like, what the arms get wet, so he short circuits, but yeah, I guess this goes into the Doc Ock thing, which we'll get into. But I'm sure Jaden's stoked for that. But yeah, and it's just the classic. Mary Jane is the damsel in distress in this movie, and it's not. It feels like ripped out of 1960s Spider-Man comics, which is fine. I guess that's sort of the intent in a way. It doesn't really capture my imagination in terms of being a quality superhero film, I don't know. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. In the villain department, this is where things are going to get real controversial. So I just want to. We might have this as a bit of a, then Fitzy can counter and sort of tell Jan why he's wrong and, this sort of thing. So we've heard bits and bobs, Jan. I want to get your complete thoughts on how Doc Ock stands up amongst other villains, okay?
Like, he doesn't. He's sitting on the ground firmly, until how he stands against him.
That's great.
He's just a boring villain. It's a traditional, scientist gone too far pursuit of their creation, but like the way it comes about is that it's just all. I mean, like, it just feels so. I don't know. Like, it just feels so unauthentic to what the character to the glimpse of the character that we are shown. The way he's just willing, his wife dies, it's all his fault, and then just sends him down this path of villainy. Like, the fact that he becomes a villain from that just feels so weird. And like, I don't know, he's just such a boring, generic villain. And like, when people talk about, I don't know, just in terms of everything that we've been shown in other movies, present, past, whatever, like, he just is nothing special.
I do want to be sort of conscious of the fact that I don't want to like hinge the entire conversation on just what other people say, and it's like comparing it to like the consensus opinion or whatever, because I feel like that's sort of where this is going in a way. But I sort of agree. But I want to get your take too, Fitzy. I need to hear both sides. I need to be convinced. I'm sitting on the fence.
I don't know. I think he's good. He's not great, but I think just the conversation he has with Peter and the way he's directed and like everything around him is kind of more interesting than him, I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I mean, like, it's just like, that conversation he has with Peter is like, it's nothing different to like Willem Dafoe is telling Peter, you can do this or whatever, and like, or in The Amazing Spider-Man, how Kurt Connors like has this like starts developing this really good, like, I don't know, student-teacher relationship with him, or like how, like, it's not exactly that uncommon for the villain to, even we see it with Mysterio and Spider-Man in the new one, where like they develop this relationship and then they kind of do that, like, so that kind of conversation and that kind of camaraderie or whatever they do, that build up, in the beginning, like, that's not like a unique point to really grasp me on,
No, I suppose not. Yeah, that's a good point. I think what I will say is, though, I do think that in those initial scenes where we're getting that relationship building, the scenes where Otto interacts with Peter, I think that Alfred Molina is very good in those scenes. I think he's very believable. I just love his dialogue delivery. I think he really owns those scenes, and I think that's sort of maybe that's where that comes from with other people's opinion. I don't know, but for me, like I really bought into that. I
Yeah,
really wanted him, to sort of be that father figure for Peter, which he never really became, obviously. But I think he just really stands up in those scenes as his performance there. I don't think so much later on, like I don't. After he becomes Doc Ock and he spends half the movie sort of just running around the city compiling his parts for his machine, it's like, all right, this is throwaway. This is whatever. Like, not Alfred's fault, but it's just like this ain't doing it for me. It's when he's really digging into when he's just sitting there on the dinner table, or when he's just sitting there talking to the scientists. That's when he really shines in the movie, and we don't really get anything from that once he goes all horror movie on us.
yeah. Like he seems like he actually believes what he says, and like he's one of the more
Yeah,
believable performances in the Spider-Man villains. Like fucking Kurt Connors in The Amazing Spider-Man is the most boring, generic, just like no emotion scientist. And he doesn't offer anything in like mentorship, or like he doesn't. You don't believe him as a character like you do with Doc Ock, at least in the first half, like you said. But also just like the way the action scenes are directed in this with Doc Ock are really great. Just like how the camera follows him and Peter like fighting like down the building and shit like that. It's like it's unique in that way as well as his performance.
that's true. That's true. The fighting down the buildings fight scene, which I think is like halfway through the film, I think that's the best action scene I've seen in these two movies so far. I thought that was really well done, easy to follow, entertaining, creative with using the forearms on the side of the building. It even had like, of course, it had to be somewhat campy when Aunt May like throws her umbrella up on the thing, and like stays hanging there. Goofy stuff, but that's fun in my opinion. The way it's inserted there. Um, I totally agree with that. That's I think the best utilization of Doc Ock on screen I've seen.
I do like the train scene as well. Yeah.
That's not really. Oh
Um,
yeah, no, his Doc leaves. Sorry, you're right. I was mainly thinking of like just the part where Peter's holding the train back. But yeah, he is there earlier as well. Yeah, that's true. He's like
Just tossing
throwing all the
people.
people. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. It was just eating people. That was wild. And in terms of like the earlier stuff, I don't know, like to Fitzy's point, he has that. I like that little moment he has where he's like, I think Peter questions him or something about the exact science of what he's doing, and he's like, "What? This is my life's work. Do you think I hadn't thought this through?" Or he says something like that. I really believed him in that moment. I thought that was a good line. And then when he, like, the death of his wife was brutal. So that's
no, the glass. Yeah.
the glass. Yeah, that shot of like the reflection coming.
Yeah.
Like that's a shot that like doesn't necessarily hold up CG wise, but it was a cool shot. Like I liked that a lot. It was gnarly.
Yeah. And his transformation in the surgery scene is really great as well.
Yeah.
When he goes
Yeah.
full Revenge of the Sith and screams, "No!"
That's right. That's right. And when
Not that moment, but like
Yeah, no,
everything before that.
we can just ignore the bad stuff.
No, acknowledge the bad stuff. I acknowledge the bad stuff.
that scene has got. I'm so glad you brought up that scene. That scene, to me, as someone who's not an expert in horror films or Sam Raimi films outside of these movies, like that scene screamed Sam Raimi doing this horror thing, because that was all, zoom ins on faces going ah, and like there was like 5 shots of that, and then there was like the arms are going wild, like murdering people, and it was all like super cheesy. It felt to me like 80s slasher stuff, at least to what I imagined that to be. Jan can probably speak to that better, but I like that scene for that reason. It felt like, okay, I can see Sam Raimi here. I can see the history of his filmmaking in this scene right here. So I don't know if that's a reason why you liked it as well, Fitzy, but I saw that, I thought.
Yeah, like that's the scene where it's his direction is very noticeable, but also
Yeah.
like in the train sequence, like when it's on the tracks, it just like zooms all the way to like the the end of the track with the thing that stops the train not supposed to
Oh
stop.
yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
like
remember that.
I think there's a scene in the Evil Dead that's kind of like that, where it just like zooms way in on like something like in the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's like, yeah, that's something I don't think you see in like an average. Like it feels unique, like the direction there, and the close-ups in this film are really great. I think they're like the close-ups and just the quick cuts and stuff make it more noticeable than the first, I guess, in like the direction or the editing, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's true. Just to make sure, so I've got the right shot in my brain. It's not a zoom, right? The camera moves fast, right?
Oh
That's
yeah,
what it
yeah,
is.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay,
fast moving.
yeah, because there are. Yeah, I just want to make sure I had the right one in my brain. Absolutely, yeah, I like that shot too. I totally agree.
That's he's got an interesting history with that shot, and that's actually So
Oh, it's starting to bring him around, Fitzy. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh.
no, not about this movie, but just about Raimi and that shot
Mm.
and the way he did it in The Evil Dead, and
Oh, don't worry. This movie's not without weird editing choices. What about when it just randomly in the second act, I believe, like just freeze frames on Peter for like 5 seconds. Remember that? He's like walking.
No.
It's terrible. He's walking towards the camera, I believe, and it's like used as a transition to a new shot, just in the middle of the movie. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like, the final shot of The Prisoner of Azkaban, where it freeze frames on Harry.
Yeah.
It's like that, just in the middle of the movie for no reason. It sucked. So there was just weird shit like that. I have also written here. I have written here mouth transition. I don't know what that means. Did something?
Oh, he's open. He's like at the doctor scene.
Oh, like Adam Sandler's
It's like
colonoscopy.
colonoscopy. The colonoscopy. Yeah. It like zooms out from his mouth when he's yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know if that was bad or not. I just read that stood out to me, obviously, at the time. I wrote it down. That's pretty funny.
Also, there's like with the editing, there's like a wavy transition, like to where Doc Ock is. There's like a
Yes.
PowerPoint presentation like thing.
Yeah.
It seems like
That's
it,
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, and, wait, and it's like he's there just in the abandoned building doing something, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's after he's like found it and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Those scenes sort of blur together for me because, like, I forgot he was in the movie. Like, when we're firmly in the second act and we're dealing with Peter not wanting to be Spider-Man, again, I like that stuff. And then, like, Otto shows up every 15 minutes in that bit, and I sort of just forget he's in the movie every time because he's doing nothing, except he gives a monologue. He does the whole "nothing will stand in our way" sort of shit. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So that's, I think, in that section, that blob of the movie, that's where I side with Jade on it, just being like, all right, let's get on with it. I also, I've just realized I wrote down Doc Sock in my notes accidentally. That's fun. But this, I mean, speaking of direction, in terms of its more fast-paced, action-y sort of moments, I think this film, I mean, it sort of hones in on what the first film did in terms of, we talk about the weird, exaggerated, like over-the-top flips and shit in that movie. And this film goes more in on that, but I think it's done really well. I like that stuff, actually, the more I think about it. It works. Maybe it just works when it's grounded in a better script, Like, to me, it sort of didn't all jive in the first one, but here, like when he flips over the car, and he's on the scooter.
Oh,
It's like,
I
didn't mind that. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And Tobey Maguire performed that stunt himself, apparently. Yeah. So he actually did that though. Like he actually
all 14 flips and landed.
That's right. He nailed that. So I like that stuff. But then, I mean, we can get into the score as well. I think the score's sensational. Again.
Yeah.
But I think where the score was great in the first film, I think it actually, like the visuals in this movie, this film creates moments with the score that are actually hype and are actually cool. as opposed to just, oh, look, listen and the music's cool. It's like this moment really, the score elevates this moment. Whereas I don't know if I ever felt that in the first movie. There's that moment where when Peter decides he's going to be Spider-Man again, he steals the suit back from J. Jonah Jameson's office. That is a phenomenal 1 minute of film right there.
Like that thing, like the building.
Yeah. Everything about that, because, and then, I mean, J.K. Simmons, S tier in the movie, of course. Then, like, going straight from a great J. Jonah Jameson joke scene into the stealing of the suit, into the best looking the swingings ever looked in these movies, and this is like this is great shit. This is into a continuous shot of the scores going and going, and it's great. And then I believe the camera then comes up on Doc Ock on the side of the building, and you see, but no, shit. It's even better than that. You come out of the reflection of his sunglasses. Remember that? Like it's like you had been seeing that scene the whole time in the reflection of his sunglasses, and the camera comes out here, and on him standing on the side of the building. Terrific. Love that shit.
When's the scene where he's like trying to jump between the buildings?
Oh, it's a bit before that, I believe. Not too much. It's about there though. It's not far away. When he hurts his back. That one, right? Yeah. Anyway, so that was my favorite. Like, take a minute of the film that, where I can see this being this is a great movie. If the rest of the movie for me was this scene, it's terrific. Absolutely love that scene. I don't know. Do I want to open this can of worms again in terms of? I mean, sure, why not? I can't remember what the conclusion we came to at the end of the last review. Does MJ know that he's Spider-Man or not? Because she obviously doesn't here. That's the element of the story. Did she know at the end of the first one? I think
you two said no and I said yes.
Is that right?
No. Oh, the implication in the first one is that she knows, but then she doesn't know in this one. So, like, the movie leaves it like it's implying that she knows, but then it kind of reverses that, right, in this one? Right. It doesn't even reverse it. It just doesn't say anything on it.
I guess it just it sort of just tries to pretend that it never implied it.
Yeah.
Because I was confused about that again at the start of this film. Okay. Dude, I felt so sorry for John at the end of the film when she ditches the wedding. What was that? I'm sorry. Like, I can't. I know that's meant to be like a hype, like, feel-good moment. I just couldn't. Okay? The poor man had been completely stood up, blindsided. He didn't do anything wrong. What did this guy do wrong, And she goes back for that dork, Tobey Maguire, okay, Peter Parker. I feel so sorry for him,
Yeah, it'd be better if we actually believed in their relationship, but like...
That's a fair argument too. Yeah, I agree with that. If it were like... That probably is the reason I feel that way, because if it were like, oh, dude, they're meant to be together. Oh, shit, it's happening. That's so cool. But when it's sort of, I guess I don't believe it. Yeah.
Like, we're just never given a reason as to buy into, like, why we should buy into this so much, I just...
What does she see in him?
What? Yeah, I don't know. Just beyond that, like, they just don't have good chemistry, like, on screen. It's just
not really.
I just cannot buy their relationship.
Yeah, I think their best scene is their last scene. I'll say that. Like the go get him tiger. That's good. That's a good line. I like that. Oh really? I kind of liked it. I guess I can see why it would be good, but. And I also I wasn't expecting the film to end on that final shot of MJ being a bit sad. That was interesting. That was a cool choice, I guess it's meant to sort of leave us with a bit of a foreboding sense of what's going to happen in Spider-Man 3,
It's going to become emo. That's what she said.
The worst turn of all, yeah.
She senses the bully phase.
That's right. Dude, I'm so excited to watch that movie. I've got no idea what to expect. I think I just mainly I hope that Fitzy's costume 2 years ago lives up to the film, because it was so incredible when he went as emo Tobey Maguire, which is terrific. So I just hope that Tobey Maguire's real performance lives up to yours, I mean, is there anything else worth saying in terms of? I mean, actually, you know what? Yeah, there definitely is. In terms of the J. Jonah Jameson scenes, they're so well done, and this time there's more of them, and it's evident that they knew what they had this time. You know, like I'm sure they were filming the first one, they thought they were great, but it's so obvious they knew that the audience responded to these, so they threw more in, and they're just as good. It's terrific. There's so many funny lines in there that he's just going. J.K. Simmons is going so fast, interacting off all these characters that keep walking in and out of his newsroom. It's hysterical.
Oh, this is when he's planning a wedding in this one, isn't he? Yeah, for his son. That's right. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, yeah, I remember that.
That's
part.
right.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, like the scene where he's like, cancel the caviar. That's great. That's terrific.
Or like, was it like something about flowers and some shit as well? Was there?
Oh, there might be. Oh,
yeah. No, I don't know.
I don't remember that one. But dude, he goes so fast. There's so many. Like when he's like debating with, he's like firing Peter at the start, and he like hires him back immediately, and then he's like, get me a violin. It's good stuff. It's all great stuff. And of course, like this one's it's cheap, but like when he's when the dude comes up with the name Dr. Octopus, and he's like, that's shit, and they go through 3 more names, and he's like, I've got it, Dr. Octopus.
I just don't like anything with Aunt May in the film, I guess.
Oh,
it
okay.
Kind of slows the film down, and it's generic, and like the thing she says is very, you know, what do you call it? Like just like, you know, cliche superhero stuff, I guess, or comic book stuff. Like there's a hero in all of us, and you know, all of that.
Right. That's that long scene she has in the backyard you're talking about.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
You know what could have saved Aunt May, Dr. Octopus in the entire movie? If when he had her on that building, he just held her up and just pierced her with one of his arms. Sort of completely sold me on him.
Oh my god. That sounds brutal. I can't say I would have disliked it, to be honest. I don't mind her. I think the conversation she has about like her performance in regards to still being upset about Ben is quite good. But yeah, I take your point about the hero stuff, yeah. It felt like the most, to me, I quite liked it because it sort of felt like the most genuine, arousing, or not in that way, like the rousing, like hype moment for like Peter to, you know, sort of click back into like, I've got to be the hero, you know, which is obviously that moment. I agree, it's a generic moment in the story. I sort of just, I guess I like the delivery of it. I like that actress, and I sort of just got into it. I guess I don't know. But for the sequence where Aunt May is taken hostage and later aids Spider-Man, Rosemary Harris performs the action sequences herself.
More like hanging with the umbrella in a building.
Dude, she was actually hanging from that building. It was crazy. Yeah, I don't really understand what that means. Like, I mean, I guess she was in Doc Ock's arms. Like, did she have to CG
like rig her up and like just like
rig her up? Maybe, yeah.
Maybe that's shake her around. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Rosemary, we're just gonna move you to the left now. Give us a scream. Like, I don't know. Like, was that? I thought that was it was actually a pretty high-rated trivia too, so I didn't really get it, but it's there. It's there. I must say, those CG arms for Doc Ock look pretty good. I believe they're actually puppets in some scenes, which makes sense. But when they're CG, they're good. They look good.
Yeah, because I think I saw a bit of trivia on, not trivia. I think I saw from like an interview with Molina like recently, where he's talking about the difference between like the MCU and like back then, and he said, you know, this time it's just all CG, and you know he just has to imagine with what he's got and stuff. Whereas, you know, back then he had the actual like things that he could use and stuff. So
yeah, okay. So maybe there were more. I know there's definitely puppets involved. They might have been even more involved than I thought. But obviously, like when we're talking about like the extended, exactly. And I think that scene, as I've already mentioned, is good. And I think the arms look good there too. So I think regardless of how they're being implemented, the arms look very good. I don't know how to feel about James Franco in this movie. I kind of, at first when he turned up and he was like Oscorp executive, I was into it. To be honest, I was kind of like, oh, I like that there's been a clear character shift here from the first one. I can sort of see how his father's death would have affected him here. He's becoming a little more serious and stuff. But then his role in the story is very limited, and I don't really... It sort of feels like a bit of padding just to get us to the end where he learns Peter's identity and now he can continue the beef with him, you know? It felt like he was sort of just on hold for the movie until we get to the end because they know he's going to be the Spider-Man 3 thing, you know?
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate how like both. I think this and the Amazing Spider-Man don't handle it well. The whole Harry thing. I think in both it feels a bit weird. This one, I think in the later version it's very rushed, but in this one it feels very much like they're fumbling about until they can just reach a conclusion that they can then work with.
Yeah, I see that. I agree with that. And like the whole thing, like with him, his final scene with him, discovering the Green Goblin stuff. It's like, okay, like I get that this is 2004, and that sort of feels like a early version of what would be a post-credit scene. Like that's sort of what the whole scene felt like to me, anyway. It's okay, that doesn't really get me super invested in the character. I wasn't expecting Willem Dafoe to be there again, so that was sort of weird. I don't really get why he was there. I didn't realize Harry was crazy because the whole like Willem was seeing himself because of the chemicals. Yeah. So I don't really get why Harry can see him, but whatever. But okay, this is probably my favorite trivia. Willem Dafoe was not originally supposed to return for this movie, but he was walking back to his apartment one night and saw the cast and crew filming. He stopped to say hello, and the filmmakers decided to give him a cameo. Maybe that's why it makes no sense, because they literally just threw it in. All right, fair enough. I think that's pretty hilarious, honestly. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this trivia, okay? It needs to be in the episode, I think, because it's insane. Tobey Maguire was fired due to reports of him faking a back injury for a larger pay raise for Spider-Man 2. Jake Gyllenhaal was lined up to play Spider-Man and had already begun preparation, but Maguire decided to take part after all. So that's weird enough. However, according to the DVD commentary, the "my back" joke after Peter falls from the roof was completely coincidental, as it was written into the script before Maguire's problems arose. Maguire apologised to the studio and got his role back.
That's weird.
That's weird shit, dude. This man tried to fake an injury to get a pay raise. Wow. Good on you.
Wasn't Gyllenhaal also supposed to be like Lord of the Rings as Frodo or something?
Is that true?
I think he was like one of the options, but like it's weird how he's been like the options for all these big roles, like Spider-Man.
And he sort of always, I mean, he ends up being Mysterio, so it sort of all comes back around in a way that's probably better, I mean, better for him, that is. I don't know, like I personally would have much rather him in this movie than Tobey Maguire. Well, actually, that's probably not true. This is a Spider-Man. I would have rathered him in the first one in the first place, I guess, is what I mean. I don't want to, no one likes actor changes to a direct sequel, where all the other actors are the same. That no one wants that. Can you imagine if Daniel Radcliffe just changed in Half-Blood Prince? That would suck. That'd be terrible.
Oh, the opening credits thing in this I think it's a lot better than the first one, and it's it uses the whole soundtrack pretty much. So I think it's really, really good.
I would have been devastated if I forgot. Thank you, Fitzy. Yes, I totally agree. And I liked it a lot in the first one too, so the fact it's an improvement is saying something. Yeah, they used they do a little recap with little cool drawings and stuff. I like that. It was neat. I'm well and truly done if you guys are.
Yeah, can I just clarify one last thing?
Please do.
Is the story that the metal arms are what make Doc Ock go evil? Is that the thing?
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
His arms are evil. This. That's just,
So his arms are AI. They are artificial intelligence. Why? Why are his arms artificial intelligence? Why couldn't he just develop arms that aren't AI? Why did he make them AI? What's the point of that?
And they become evil. It's like Ultron.
Yeah, but they're arms. Aren't they just essentially tools?
Yeah.
It's like if my wheelchair became evil. What's the what?
But how do he has to control it though, doesn't he, with his brain? So
yeah, but you don't have to make it.
You don't need AI for that. Isn't it just can't you just put it's like having a fake limb today or something?
But how are you going to control full arm? How are you going to control 8 arms? No, 6 arms. you got 2 arms and then you got 4 arms at the back.
Well, Liam, it's a superhero movie. We're meant to suspend our belief.
But even outside of that, though, isn't it just? I'm no scientist. Isn't it just like a neurological connection you can form, like with the spinal, like it is, like you connect it to the spine and shit. So it's sort of
Yeah, but that's doesn't that only make sense when you have like normal arms, because that's like your body can control that. But like humans are used to having other arms, so they can like. How do you? I don't know. It doesn't make sense physiologically just to have like an extension of your body,
No, why does he need 4 of them anyway? I mean, like just hire an intern or some shit. Like honestly.
Yeah, no, that's true too. But okay, no, I see your point, but I feel like there's a truth here somewhere. I feel like my point stands. Like, okay, that's fair, but then like them being sentient though, like, that's a bit extreme, right?
Them being evil and sentient.
Yeah, and it's like, why are they evil? They just are. Like, I agree with Jaden. That's pretty poor. And it's like, oh, but he's got the inhibitor chip. I like when the news reporters are like, oh, but excuse me, Otto, won't they just make you evil? And he's like, excuse me, I thought of that. And it's like, you dumbass.
Yeah. What was he like? He said, oh, it was like excellent question. Like, he says something really exaggerated.
Yes, he's so confident about it. He's like, excellent question, Christy. Well, let me tell you about this inhibitor chip. That's not going to work.
Why did the reporter's first reaction go, oh, metal arms, they must be evil, they're going to take him over as well? I mean, like, that part was, I'm glad we got into that. That was weird. I agree. That was all odd. All right, let's get into our final verdicts of Spider-Man 2. Fitzy.
Oh, I just want to say I agree with you guys that the ending is super weak, especially compared to the ending of the last one, which was like, granted, Golden's Earth is pretty great, but like the whole thing in the water and everything was like really average and just kind of bland. But
yeah.
No, yeah, I don't know. It's a good film for the action sequences and the score and everything with Spider-Man. Everything like kind of tangential to that, as you said, like Aunt May and like James Franco, and I mean to an extent Doc Ock is kind of just average, but I don't know. I think there are great scenes in this. There are great flares of Sam Raimi's direction and shit. So I don't know. It is a good film. 7 out of 10.
Very nice. I want to see if I do this correctly. I'm going to give it a 6. I think. I actually think I like the movie more from this discussion, to be honest. Like, just I think it still has plenty of issues which we went over, but I think like me talking about the strengths and the direction and moments I really liked, talking about them out loud made me realize I actually liked them even more than I thought I liked them. So I'll give it a strong 6. How about that? Jaden, please don't fail me.
Well, you see, I kind of float between like a 5 and a 6, and like I think it is more likely a 5. But when I think that I gave Spider-Man 3 a 5, like I can't. Like, these aren't the same films. Like this is a more entertaining affair and a more competent film. So I'll put it on a 6, but just to be that bit lower than you, I'll say it's a weak 6.
I think you're trying to get around the fact that you failed me there. Okay, I think that's what just happened. Yeah. All right. Well, we get to Spider-Man 3 next month. Everyone get rewatching that. It's also on Netflix, so that's exciting. Let's get into news chat. Dune Part 2 has been greenlit after the first week of it being open at the box office. It is coming in October of 2023. So that's actually, I feel like that's not, considering
Bullshit.
How long... What?
Bullshit. That's going to get delayed, I reckon.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah.
I mean, that's possible. I was literally about to say. I mean, I feel like it's sooner than I would have expected. But and considering how long we've been talking about this film, I feel like that'll fly by. We'll get that. That'll come around really quickly.
Unless they're already very deep in pre-production for the part 2, like I do not see them meeting that day.
Well, that's interesting because I know, everyone. We've mentioned it plenty of times. I think that Denis wanted to shoot them both at the same time, so I'd imagine the script is done.
Actually, yeah, no, okay, if that, yeah, true. That's
I'd
fair.
imagine, so that's interesting too. But I feel like maybe I was a bit more surprised, I think, than most people to see this news. To be honest, maybe because I was buying into, because I saw a lot of things that are like, oh, obviously, but maybe because it's just a me thing because I was buying a lot into the box office conversation around this film, and that we talked about a few times. I wasn't as confident, but I'm thrilled. It's awesome, that we're getting this, and I'm glad that the film seems to be performing relatively strongly. So yeah, Denny's gonna finish this damn story, bro.
The differences between like this and like 2049's failure at the box office is that the cast is actually pulling in people like the mainstream audience. Like I remember we talked about it quite a while ago, or even a few times about like how what it's going to perform, and I said Zendaya, Timothy Chalamet will pull in a massive audience, and all over TikTok there's so many things about, oh, it's just a movie of them two standing around for 2.5 hours. It's just so much complaining about them, but they went to see it for them.
That's
but then
so
it's not what the
interesting.
movie they expected.
That's so interesting. Yeah, because I wouldn't have thought about that, but you're much more in tune with the world of TikTok. God bless TikTok. TikTok made Dune Part 2 happen, people. Just let that sink in. But yeah, no, that's a valid point. That's interesting.
That's the only thing that I don't like about it. That's just like it's the first part, to a story. So it's like I don't know. It's incomplete, I guess, but like yeah, that's the one thing I'm not like excited about, I guess.
Just don't watch it and wait for 5 years in the future when WB ultimately concedes and lets Denny do like a 5-hour ultimate director's cut, and then just watch that one.
Just watch that. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I hear you, Fitzy, and I'm glad that, because there was so much going into. I feel like everyone's understanding of what this movie was changing a lot in terms of, are they shooting them both at the same time? Is it all one movie? Are they adapting the one book or all of them? Like, I feel like that was all over the place for a while. Now we know that it's part one, Like, I'm glad I have my expectations set there, because I feel like if I didn't know that, I might have been disappointed too. But
Yeah.
now the fact I know, I'm okay with it.
Oh, okay. Well, I think, didn't you say you also wanted to do the third book as well? Yeah, like Dune Messiah or something. I think this week you said that.
But isn't there 5 books? Is that right?
Yeah, there's a lot, but I think he just wanted to do like a trilogy kind of thing, but like not a trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like he wanted the one after or something.
That's interesting. I don't know. I guess for people who know the books better, it makes more sense to them. But like, he wants to only do a certain amount of the books. So then, at what point is the story complete? Like, at what point can you say, "Oh, that's the story is done"?
I think he just wants to do the one character thing. I don't want to spoil anything, but like,
Okay.
I think there's like in the books there's like different characters.
Oh, generations of characters.
Yeah, like I think after the third one, it kind of, or fourth one, it kind of like changes and becomes like a whole different story, I guess.
Oh,
like,
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, the kids or whatever.
Because isn't it like a Children of the Dune? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, so he wants to like it's a generation. The main.
Yeah, well, he wants to do like Luke, Luke and Leia. And,
that's right. He wants to do the original Star Wars trilogy, not the sequel trilogy. I understand. Cool. Okay. All right. Jan, I want to know if you saw this. Hayden Christensen, of course, returning to the realm of Star Wars in Obi-Wan next year. But he's now
in Ahsoka too.
He's back. He's coming back again. He's back as Anakin again in the Ahsoka series. This is interesting, to say the least. I want to know how you feel about this. If what your thoughts are, if you're interested in how this will be implemented,
So, do we know? Is it going to be like? It's all flashbacks, right? Like, because Ahsoka set 5? Is Ahsoka set at the same time as Mandalorian or whatever? Right?
Yeah,
it's only flashbacks, right? Do we know it's
I don't know if I agree with that, by the way.
Oh, you think it's like going to be a Force Ghost or some shit? If it's Clone Wars flashbacks, I'd like it, I guess. But if it's just like, actually, no, I think I would like flashback. I don't know. I don't think I would have Force Ghost. I feel like that'd be a bit odd. But like, you know, if we just get a few little snippets of Hayden, you know.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Ahsoka's story. Sorry, I was like a long pause. Ahsoka's story is still unfolding before our eyes, which is very exciting. Anakin is vital to Ahsoka's story. Anakin's redemption is vital to Ahsoka's, or in terms of her understanding that he redeemed himself. Right, that is going to be an important moment for a character, and I think it makes all the sense in the world that she interacts with a Force Ghost version of him after he has done it. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know how much flashbacks add to. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't see a realm where flashbacks add a lot to that element of the story. It's really interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, this is Dave. This is Dave's script. I trust Dave Filoni with my life. You know what I mean? If he was the pilot of an airplane, he's not an airplane pilot, by the way. But if he were flying my airplane, I'd be like, dude, you got this, bro. Whatever, you know, just land the shit. So I trust him with my life. He's fine. I've got no doubt that I'll like this. But it's an interesting thing where when I think about Ahsoka and Anakin and their relationship and how important they are to each other as characters, it's Ashley Eckstein and Matt Lanter, you know? And I just don't know how much I like Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, but I just don't know how much I'm going to buy into like Hayden Christensen and Rosario Dawson having a scene together where it's like, it's Anakin and Ahsoka talking, but it's these two actors I've never seen interact before. You know what I mean? I just don't know how much I'm going to feel invested in that. That's sort of my one thing where I'm like, maybe I would have rather they do this in animation. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like, I think whatever it ends up being, I think it has to be minimal, you know? It's...
Yeah.
Especially if it's Force Ghost, I don't think you can... I don't think you can hang around much. I think it'd be like a segment in an episode or something like that. Because otherwise it becomes a bit like, I don't know if it finished it, but like when Hannah Baker's ghost turns up in 13 Reasons Why.
Right, yes.
In season 2 of that. It's gonna become a bit like that.
Yeah, that shit sucked. Yeah, totally. No, I think if it is the Force Ghost, which I suspect it would be then, maybe 2 or 3 scenes.
Yeah.
I think that's what you get. I don't see him being like a main cast member.
Yeah, you know the way that Liam Neeson is not how Qui-Gon is implemented on in the Mortis arc. I think something like that.
And later in the Yoda arc, yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
similar sort of things. Yeah.
Mm.
God, he's so great in those. God bless Liam Neeson. So yeah, that's very interesting. We'll see how that unfolds. We'll see how Hayden does in Obi-Wan first. That's first and foremost right there. All right, we got the Lightyear trailer, which is the Buzz Lightyear Pixar film. Who saw it?
Zach, you saw it. Tell us your
opinions
about that.
You didn't answer you didn't indicate either way. Oh,
no.
Okay. Oh shit! Sorry, everyone. You have to listen to me talk. Well, this trailer looks flippin' awesome, dude. This shit is fire. Okay. You know, we all know I'm a Pixar fanboy, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Okay. This is Pixar doing a space epic. And it's like, what? Like, did you ever know you wanted that? Yeah. Yeah, I always knew, okay? I always knew deep down. And this shit looks awesome, okay? It's not at all, and I'm interested to see how they handle this in the movie. They can probably do it a few ways. But the trailer gives no hint at all. This isn't Toy Story. This isn't Toy Buzz Lightyear. This is in-universe, like, Buzz Lightyear's an astronaut. You know what I mean? Not in real life, obviously, but it's like a fictional universe, obviously, right? So it's literally just like Pixar making an original space film with Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear as your protagonist. It's like, yeah, dude. The trailer is stunning. It just gives us vibes. The trailer is all vibes. I don't really know what's happening in the story. I'm sure I'll love it, but it's all just amazing. Like, it feels like Pixar flexing of like, we know you like how our films look normally, but yeah, we're gonna make spaceships and planets and space. Okay, and you're not prepared for it because I'm not. It looks amazing. I don't know, Pixar sci-fi. Like, what more else do you want? And it seems like it's taking itself like fairly seriously for a Pixar film too. At least that's the tone they definitely went with for this teaser. So
Doesn't this like fuck the timeline like really badly? Because
The timeline.
you know, like Toy Story has always been set in present day, but for that to be, so that means like Buzz Lightyear is an icon either of the present or the past. But if he's going into like faraway planets, then that like makes it seem like a future thing, you know.
Well, it's a weird conversation to have. I think it's in the Toy Story universe. There is a Buzz Lightyear universe, right? There is a Buzz Lightyear lore. You know what I mean? There's Zurg. There's the space scene from the beginning of 2. I think it's that.
Right.
It's
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
You know, where it's not in the Toy Story universe. It is a universe
of its
in
own.
itself.
Right. What if it ends up just being like a TV show that they're making? You know, the Buzz Lightyear TV show.
The toys are watching.
Yeah.
I mean, that's possible. I don't know if that's the direction they would want to go, but I wouldn't be. That could very well be it. Like either the opening, closing, or both scene is like, let's go and see this Buzz Lightyear film or watch this Buzz Lightyear show, and it's I don't know, either the toys or someone watching it. You know, that'd be weird. There was a Cowboy Bebop trailer. Fitzy, you got to tell us about it, bro. I need to shut up. I need to drink some water. I need you to tell me about Netflix's live-action Cowboy Bebop show.
The trailer was pretty. I don't know, it's pretty goofy, I guess. They seem like they're going for a very weird turn, very goofy turn. It feels like it looks like they're copying all the sessions or the same plots of the show, the same episodes and stuff, but the vibe definitely feels different. Feels a bit like jumpy, I guess, or like, you know, Edgar Wrighty, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. Like the costumes, they don't look great. Like they look a bit cosplay, but I think it could be fun. Maybe.
That's a good takeaway to have. But is this tone, this goofy tone you're talking about, is that how does that compare to the tone of the anime? Like, is that in line with it?
Well, because it's live action, like I think if you shot it and if it was the same way as the anime, it would work because it would just feel like stale and like just airless, I guess. It wouldn't, because when you're looking at the show, it's like the animation the animation is its own style, so like you get enough from just not having to have like creative direction or anything, right? You could just have the animation and just tell a story. But with this, it looks kind of like they're going to compensate, not having the animation with the actual editing and the direction, which in the trailer was very like all over the place and like jump cutty and that kind of thing, which wasn't really in the show. Like, yeah.
So they have to add like insert personality in that way to compensate. I get you. Interesting.
Yeah, well, I feel like anime adaptations usually just they're not great. They're failures usually just because like it's I don't know. It's very hard to it's hard to adapt, I guess. But because like a lot of the thing about animation, like a lot of what you get from it is the personality from the animation and stuff, and yeah, without that, it's kind of it's weird, I guess. So you need to compensate in some way. Which it looks like they're doing. It looks like they're going to go for this tone at least. They're like making a choice,
It's always good when they make a tonal choice. That's very positive. All right. Well, I think that's pretty soon, isn't it? Is that like a few weeks away? That show?
Oh yeah, I think so.
That's exciting. I will proceed to only watch that version and like it, and then never watch the original.
Very funny.
To the dismay of everyone. All right, now it's time for our highlights of the week. Jaden, what have you been watching?
I watched this Netflix series called The Chestnut Man. It's this Danish crime thriller. It's only 6 episodes, hour long each, super short. I banged through it last night.
Whoa.
It's really phenomenal. Like the Europeans just do crime thrillers so well. Like there's only one I've watched that I don't like, which is Marcello, which is British anyways. I mean, like but still, it really is just phenomenal from story to photography to acting and just what everything represented. It's so grim but awesome, and the way it's just I don't know really how to phrase it enough, because like I mean it is just kind of your I don't want to say standard, but like kind of standard serial killer, but like crazy serial killer that's like intelligent type thing, It's like the story in that sense is, it's nothing new, but like but with the way they go about it, it's just, I'm not doing a good job of selling it at all, but like,
when do we ever on this part?
It's 6 hours. Everyone should just watch it. You can watch 2 Martin Scorsese films, or you can watch this epic, it's,
right. That's true.
It's, it's brilliant.
You can watch Once Upon a Time in America, or you can watch the series. One or the other. Cool. I'm gonna add. I saw a show that sounded like that had also a weird name, because the Chestnut Man is a weird name. I don't know if that was the show I saw on
97, or was it?
No. I saw it on Netflix last night, and I think that might have been it. I don't know. I'll have to go back and check. Either way, I'll add it to my list for sure. What about you, Fitzy?
I watched The Last Duel in a theater all to myself, bro. That was great.
Wait, hang on. Were you literally by yourself?
I had the whole theater to myself. It was awesome, man.
That's awesome. God bless you.
Just
God
think
bless
how I
the
could have
theatre
ruined that
gods.
experience for you.
I know, dude.
I could have been there and ruined it.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's a shame. No, but yeah, I thought it was a great film. How much do you guys know about the film, by the way? I just want to know before I say anything.
I heard a bit more than I wanted to be honest, in terms of I think I sort of get what the conflict is about, and I didn't really want to know that, but
well, yeah, this film's really great. I think the structure is really interesting, especially with when you think of all the details it provides. And I think on a technical level, the film's really great. Just the acting, the direction, and everything, and Ben Affleck in this film is so. It's so weird, man. His haircut, his facial expressions. He's so he's such a slimy piece of shit, and everyone in the film really is so. The film is so bloody and just gruesome, and but it's also really interesting commentary on just the way things get obscured by class and pride, and it's a really great film. Just super well made, I guess, and yeah. I had the whole theater to myself, so it was just, I could say anything I want, just enjoy it.
That's right.
It's great.
You can just yell at the screen. Don't do it, Ben! You were just doing that.
Is that something you guys do? Do you ever talk to the screen, oh no, don't do that or some shit? Do you guys do that?
I do that. Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
yeah, I do.
A bit. Yeah.
Fitzy seemed to probably appropriately so more reserved to admit that. Yeah, that's great. I want to see that for sure. But it's so. There's actually movies coming out now. There's Thursday's big day. The Thursday after's a big day. It's shit. I want to see this for sure. But it's will I wait till it comes to? I don't know. I might go and see it before that. We'll see. But I'm glad to hear good things about it. How does it rank, in your opinion, Ridley Scott-wise?
It's my second favorite Ridley Scott. It's the only other one that I think that I actually like. That I actually think that I love, I guess, other than Alien. So,
cool. Yeah. I'll have to check that out for sure. I watched Ex Machina for the first time. This has been eluding me for a long time. And it's about time I watched this film, and I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really neat. And it's an interesting film. It's a thought-provoking one by design. And I think what put it into perspective a little bit, because it's obviously very philosophical in nature. It discusses. I'm actually surprised we didn't watch it in philosophy because it like perfectly encapsulates all these ideas we talked about in it. And none of these ideas are new to me. You know what I mean? So I'm not like sitting there like mind blown by the concepts that it brings up to me. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, these are all things I find interesting inherently anyway. And in that sense, I was sort of like interested that the film doesn't really take a stance. It doesn't really provide perspective. It really only presents. It presents ideas to the audience in an engaging way through the characters that's sort of just there to maybe be a bit of a can of worms opener for people, a bit of a, there was a better way to put that, but whatever. And what put that into perspective for me was I listened to a bit of Alex Garland talking about the film afterwards, and he just, that's what he said. He was like, this film's sort of just meant to present interesting ideas to the audience and and just sort of open your mind a little bit. And that's sort of, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I think he nailed that. I think he nailed it. And it really did get me thinking, and the film's really great visually. It's by far my favourite Alex Garland thing I've seen. And I'm sort of, I guess, slowly becoming an expert on his works. I know he's sort of historically more of a screenwriter, and he's sort of come into his own as a writer-director for these sci-fi films only ever since Ex Machina. So he sort of developed a niche for himself. No one says niche. I just made that up. He sort of developed that for himself in the industry, which is interesting. So of his three works under that umbrella of Alex Garland sci-fi shit, I've seen them all, and this is by far my favourite. So,
mate, what's the third?
There's Annihilation and there's Devs.
I forgot he did Devs, right?
Yeah. And it's interesting because like Devs covers a lot of the same ground as Ex Machina. But
I remember the way you were talking about it. I think on the show, I think Liam said like the philosophy shit was similar.
It's similar, yeah. It covers a lot of the same ground, and I think Ex Machina is just it's smaller scale, it's more focused, and I think it conveys the ideas more interestingly in less time. I think it's just more efficient in that way. I think it's definitely better than Devs. Have you guys both seen the film?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, all right.
Well, he also apparently wrote The Beach. Like, he did the novel. He wrote the novel The Beach.
That's so weird. I saw that. That's so random. Like, he wrote the novel for The Beach.
Yeah, but I think he also worked on the screen, like, for maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
Beach is a weird movie. But yeah. And he's an interesting guy. I was digging into his credits. He's written video games too. Really, really random stuff. Notable games too. All right. As always, now we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, who is your favourite Spider-Man villain? I actually believe I worded it, who is the best Spider-Man villain, if I'm not mistaken. Two very different questions, of course. Andy said, and Andy now refers to himself in third person, disturbingly, Andrew thinks William Dafoe's Green Goblin is the best Spider-Man villain Andrew has ever seen because he's something of a, insert anything you want there, himself, isn't he? Embracing the meme. What would you put in the blank, Jaden? What is he something of a himself? He's something of a exceptional actor himself. Is that good?
Sure.
I'm very glad. Aiden said, the floor of the clock tower. Whoa, that was good. But for me, it has to be Defoe's Norman Osborn and Alfred Molina's Otto Octavius. These villains get their proper arcs. Cough, Venom, Sandman, Harry, cough. Excuse me for that interruption. They are also sufficiently threatening and push the hero to his limit. All villains that we have already talked about in these reviews. So that's cool. We've got a lot to look forward to then. Jaden, who is your favourite or best Spider-Man villain?
When you say best, it's if we talk about on screen, it has to be Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin, because he's the only one that succeeded in his mission. He wanted to hurt Spider-Man, and he did it. You know, he forced Spider-Man into retirement for like 9 months. I mean, like, he achieved his mission. You know, He's the only one to do it, you know? No one else has done that. So best Spider-Man villain has to be him.
Most successful, yeah, exactly, yeah.
But no, my favorite is the Vulture, like I've said a few times on the show. But no, yeah.
Thanks for stealing my answer, Jan. Thanks a lot. The Vulture, absolutely. Michael Keaton's killer. It's a great villain. Interesting villain that feels grounded in that universe. Has a cool twist in the movie that I like a lot. And the final fight scene with him is great.
Homecoming is kind of really grounded, and like I would have loved to have seen that continue, but then like because it's MCU, you know, then in his next appearance we get Space Spider-Man. You know, it kind of works. It kind of works adversely against the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we'll give you this really cool like high school Spider-Man drama where it's just him in the suburbs of New York. Oh yeah, and now he goes to like the moon of Jupiter. Literally the next time we see him. Fitzy, what about you?
Well, I don't want to say the Vulture because I'll just be copying you guys.
You would be. That's correct. Yeah.
Pick Electro just for his theme alone.
Yeah. The dubstep? Is that what you mean? You mean the dubstep?
Hans Zimmer's absolute banging one, you know.
Oh, okay.
The Electro suite. Okay,
Yeah.
Hans's best piece of music.
Don't know about that, but
Well, I just don't want to say Electro, you know. But I mean, I just don't want to say Vulture. But
you
I
can
don't want to
say
say Electro either.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
He's going to be great in the new one. Can't wait.
I'll say Vulture. You know, Vulture.
Wow.
That's my answer. Yeah.
Not Mysterio?
Mysterio. No, not Mysterio. Mysterio is good.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. You took some time to decide. That's fine. I appreciate that. All right. As always, we'd love you to submit your questions, thoughts, reviews for next week's film in the YouTube comments section. Send us a DM on Instagram or join our incredibly expansive and diverse Discord server. This week, we'll be asking you, what is your favourite Studio Ghibli film? So let us know. And we'll be doing that because, Fitzy, what are we reviewing next week?
Princess Mononoke from Studio Ghibli. So, yeah.
That sounded like you were reading them off the screen. You'd never heard of any of these words in your life. Princess like you sounded like my grandfather reading these words.
I have no idea what this is. Yeah. Why is the name so weird, man? What the heck?
I know. Ghibli? I still don't know if I'm saying it right. Is it Ghibli?
I say Ghibli, but I don't know.
You say Ghibli, shit.
I don't know.
Oh, that's a dilemma. Anyways, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you guys for joining me on this fun ride. And we'll see everyone next week. Have a great rest of your weekend life and goodbye.